First, we import GetServerSideProps from Next. This is a function type that Next.js provides for server-side rendering. It's used to specify the types of the GetServerSideProps function. Here we declare the GetServerSideProps function and export it. This function is asynchronous and takes a context parameter, which provides information about the incoming request. Inside the function, we use the fetch API to make an asynchronous call to an external API endpoint to get the data we need. Replace https://appyexample.com data with the URL of the API you're fetching data from. Once the promise from fetch is fulfilled, we call the JSON method on the response to parse the JSON from the API's response. We check if there's no data returned from the API. If that's the case, we return an object with a not found property set to true, which Next.js uses to render a 404 page. If we have data, we return it inside an object under the props key. This object will be merged with the page's props, allowing us to access the data through the page's component. We close the GetServerSideProps function here. Now we define the page component which receives the data as a prop. Here we are simply rendering the data as a JSON string inside a div. In a real-world scenario, you would probably render a UI based on this data. Lastly, we export the page component as the default export of this module, so that Next.js knows this is the component to render for the associated route.